Hello and welcome as we head into Saturday, the 11th day of March 2017. My name is Derek, and we'll take a look right now at the Bitcoin chart, which will be the daily and a very short term chart, the 10-minute chart with today's action. I might as well. And huge, gigantic, enormous outside day. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing is going to follow through within a technical indicator. It's definitely a form of indecision, and the indecision usually means for wild rides. Now, one thing to counter this thing to go wild over the next 5 to 10 days is that this could likely be a case where this rally came up because of the assumption that the ETF for Bitcoin was going to go through on the Friday, but it didn't. But had it done such, this thing would have probably moved to like 1500 range. And at that point, that's what they were trying to do, get in at these lower prices to get that gain. And then, of course, you have the disappointment because it's not, which causes this big sell-off. Then you can have a group of people that are thinking in advance, well, if it doesn't happen, this thing's going to fall a decent amount, and I'm going to come up and just scoop some up. And sure enough, that, of course, would be part of what people's game plans would be. And there were so many different ones. Markets on the cryptocurrencies were moving wild during this time. Very much interesting to see as I was day trading this. But after this outside day, one of the safest bets I can make is that the Saturday session will be an inside day, which means price action will not rise above 1350, nor will it fall below 750. Interesting how, not 750, this case is 975. I'm using the Fibonacci in here just to see how this thing is playing out. Maybe if there's further retracement, this might be an interesting point with coincides with this high, an area I thought would be key support. But when you have big volume situation like this, that's when you could have these massive volatile days. This thing will look a lot more clearer when we put this on a more shorter term time frame. Which and before I do that, I have these comments that I do like to write. So I'm predicting this will be an inside day. Gulp if not, because if price action does go wild and it breaks this high, I mean, this is just going to get insane how that could follow if it does break above it, but it's rare. And then, of course, breaking down below here, the same can be true for what could be in place. It's probably going to stay within this range for an extended period of time, but the key word up for that is only probably. Looking at this on the 10-minute time frame, notice the 18 average band in here and how it's so crunched up. And then enter volatility in here, which brought this big high. I can't even tell what went first. And this is why I would like to see in charts an indicator for which of the high or low came first. Maybe put like a little flag on one of the tops indicating that this was the first hit, because this is where, when you look at charts, it's important to note, well, did it go up here, then back down, which I would guess to be the case, or did it come back down, up, and then back again? You can't tell simply by looking at this, but you do see, and here you had the outside period that had an extended period within the range again. So that's not an uncommon thing to occur as well. But within such, there's the big move down to 975, and how fast it just rallies. About 150 points. That's about 15%, just like that. And even on the corrections within such, you see it happening. You're day trading this. Now, I wasn't day trading this. Maybe I should have been, because you see at the upper end of the range that you got price action at 1129 coming down to 1070, 1080. That's like 4% moves that you can get in a very quick time over and over again, where You can be shorting in these areas, covering or going long and back and forth. Very profitable situations when you see these events take place, and then you know they're going to always settle down, which has been the case right now. And the Fibonacci I have on here is incorrect. I thought I fixed this problem. So I'm just going to draw the lines in manually. This Fibonacci is from the 975 low and the 1350 high, but this is a total different one. So therefore, we have marks in at 1104, which would be roughly around here. We have 1192. So this is going to be a key neutral range. And then 1250 if it bounces in here. But this is the key range that I think is going to be important. The range of 1100 to 1200. So basically everything in the 11 number. And then on a situation when you can clarify decent breaks above this level, that's when you can give it very high bullish crescents to not only keep a good bull market running to these previous highs, but continue on to new all-time highs on the break of this point. Breaking down below here, you can start to look into getting into bearish sentiment. So the range of neutrality is 1100 to 1200. And from that point on will help determine on the shorter midterm time frame exactly where price direction is probably going to be headed towards. Very short term, of course, we can see in here that the 1140 low level has been big resistance, and but that again, that's just very short-term stuff you see. But when you're looking at analysis, you're like, okay, it's settling in back to the band. Momentum from here short-term should continue on just a little bit further, but it's just part of technical analysis and why using technical analysis can be very, very good. Now, I did create an ebook for trading on the Poloniex website, which you can get by sending me an email, endlessmountain2008@yahoo.ca, which goes through all of these different codes, more than just these. This is just a table of contents in chronological order where they come in, and has some very key information within it. Also, it has just information to why shorting shorting Bitcoin. Technically, you are selling Bitcoin with the intent of buying back later, which is the same as short selling. You can do this in Poloniex with your base trading currency in Bitcoin. If you ever see an area where you think the price of Bitcoin is heading lower, then sell some into the USD Tether and then buy back the Bitcoins later. It's a very dangerous game to short or sell something you are holding on the long term in a powerful bull market. So I'm making sure that it is a solid bear market that will drop at least 2 to 3% minimum for me to make the bet. There is no way a multi-day or a week bear market can occur without getting me into the short camp, as the indicators will always show itself then. But I need them to be strong enough to sell for me to do such. I will usually mention on my videos, and of course this being part of the videos, on where I would be looking to do such. So within here, there is no way that I could even consider even thinking about putting a short position in until I can see any type of weak momentum down below this level. And if I was just trying to snag into long positions, I'm going to want to see clear momentum within the 1200 mark. And if I'm trading the range, and I talk about stuff like this in the book a little bit, where you may want to consider buying at the lower end of this and maybe selling at the upper end if you think there's going to be a decent extended range period within the 1200 mark, which surely could end up being a situation that could occur that could last several days. So those are just a few different things to consider within how the market is shaping up. And I'll be back on Saturday with another update. Take care.